the objective of this particular talk, or rather this particular session, is not about talking about the generic strategies that every organization have. Navigate it, and what are the key things that one person or rather one particular leader need to have so that your AI race, or rather whatever you want to call it, would be, you can say, tangible enough. It should not be getting into the same redundant thing again and again. To start with, yeah. So if you see here, we will be taking two very important pillars, that is data and people. Majorly, if I say data is basically not just data that is in Excel, unstructured form, whatever. It is also about the algorithm, the tech stack. So if I talk about the data part, and if I talk about the people part, these are the two important pillars. And if I want to put two words to it, the first one is the technical side. The other one is the adoption side. That is where the people come into picture. So when I say data, we have accessibility, governance, quality, and what are basically these things? These are the jargons, or rather the pitfalls that most of the people talk about, that we don't have accessibility to the right data. There is no proper governance in the data. There is no, you can say, the quality of the data is not good enough to generate a better value out of it. But the key thing is on the other side. Even if you have the right data, and if you don't have the adoption correct, that is the people, that is where you will keep on building a graveyard, that we call it as a POC graveyard. It is a term that we have created somewhere down. So in people, we have the first important thing is literacy, adoption, change readiness, and biasness. So if I come up with the most fanciest solution which can do wonders, but the people are not ready to adopt, it will make no sense at all. So therefore, what we say is AI readiness is not just the data problem. It is actually the people readiness challenge. So is the people ready to adopt it? So considering this as a framework, we have four pillars. The first pillar that I'll be talking about is human multiplier. What is human multiplier? And the core idea of this thing is that we are not here to replace the human. We are here how we can enable the workforce, giving them the best tool, the technology, so that they can increase their productivity and start doing the actual work instead of doing the tiresome MIS work or the Excel work or whatever we call it up. So that is where the actual, you can say, that work or rather your time get wasted. So how we can enable this thing and how we can come up with the solution or the strategy where these two things, that is the pros of two things. One is the human, the other one is AI, comes handy. So if you talk about human, what are the pros in a human person, or rather as a Homo sapien? The first thing is the context. We quickly understand in what context the other person is saying. We understand the ethics, we understand the creativity, and we also understand the strategy. This is where the Homo sapiens have the, you can say, the best foothold. But when it comes to AI, what actually pros AI brings in? Speed, scale, consistency, and data synthesis. If I give you 10 years worth of, you can say, financial reports and ask you to do manually, I guess you will not be able to do it. And that is where AI will help you. So how we can bring these two, you can say, brute force or rather this force together to generate the best value out of it. And that is where the human multiplier will come into picture. And if I talk how we can do this thing, before I jump on to what is being presented on the screen, I want to just talk about one of the key initiatives and the use case that can be built upon is in many of the industries, you have SMEs. These SMEs have experience 20 years, 30 years down the line. And you cannot just ask them in 1 or 3 months that, okay, give me the handover of entire intelligence. How we can use AI and their respective 30 years of experience and build a system or the knowledge base that can help us not just navigating the SOP driven risk, but also like just the human biasness thing. So you can use something called SME codifier or whatever you can call it up. It would be something like taking interviews, how you can place an agent, how you can place an AI agent and extract as much information from that person, place it into a knowledge graph and use your own SOPs and create a functionality or the tool or the solution that can help you drive that particular thing in a more sublime manner. So this is basically how we can do it. Along with it, we can also have something custom co-pilots, that is, you can say domain specific co-pilot. Currently, we might be talking a lot about generic co-pilots, which can solve a lot of things. But the more thing is, if you have domain specific co-pilots, it will be more, you can say, knowledgeable. It would be having a more robust knowledge to address the problem that one domain can come across. So human in the loop is also very important. And the it is not clockwise, it is anti-clockwise, that AI will propose something and human will dispose something. Currently, it is like human will propose something and AI is disposing it. We have to do the other way around to make the AI capability much better and more robust and more intelligent. So talking about this, what is the key takeaway here is, what can we automate should not be the thing, but rather we should be saying that how we can make our team 10x or 20x more intelligent or smarter or more creative. This is very, very important with respect to human multiplier. Yeah. Coming to the third theme, that is like, as he said, the prompt is the most important thing. So how the person knows that what type of prompting has to be done, and that comes under the pillar of literacy. And if I walk you through the slide, I will not take much of the time, as we have to be cognizant of the time as well. I'll just try to frame and just summarize what actually is being talked about. The key thing here is, if you have the right literacy pillars, you will be seeing some great adoption. If you have the right adoption, you will have the right discovery. If you have the right discovery, you will be having the right innovation. And if you are able to connect these dots in a right streamlined manner, you will be having the best use cases. And if I talk about the slide, something here in the middle, this talk about AAA. What is AAA? AAA is something, first thing is about awareness. And at what level the awareness about the AI should be. It has to be at the organizational level. It should not be like, okay, some chunk of people in some business is knowing about it. Someone is not knowing about it. AI should be known, or rather everyone should be democratized to the AI fundamentals. Talking about the applications, who should be knowing how to apply it? That is on the practitioner part or the doers part. They will be the one who will be looking into it. And then comes the adoption. What is adoption? Adoption should be at the C-suite level or the business level or the sponsor level, who knows that, okay, if this solution is there, if I'm able to understand, if they are aware, they'll make sure that it is being adopted. It makes sense only when you have the right ROI along with it. And that is where you will be also able to see how we can trap the right ROI and how you can increase the ROI over time. And again, at the bottom, there's a key takeaway. It is not we are making the people capable. It is you are creating a new brute force who's doing both technical and with a new mindset of AI as a part of their business, not something new.
So as Urvinder was talking about, right? So we want to tell you that what exactly should be the process to create an AI strategy. What are some of the things that we have really faced ourselves, but not a framework. So one is definitely the human multiplier. The next thing that we think is very important in this context is asking the right questions. Now, AI doesn't replace decision making. What AI really does is that it helps in making decision making and intelligent proposition, right? So basically that's what we call it as a data driven or an AI driven intelligence, right? And a lot of people actually think that, AI creates intelligence. No, it doesn't. We create that intelligence. We have an idea and we want to scale it up, and that's where AI really comes in. The problem that all of us have seen is that most of the AIs fail not because of bad data or because of bad models, because that can be corrected. If we have a bad data, we create a solution around that. If we have a bad model, we create a solution around that. But if we ask bad questions or if we have the wrong purpose, that's when the problem starts. I'll give you an example. So in one of my previous organizations, a C-suite leader actually told me, and we were solving the problem of shrinkage. If you are from retail, you might know that shrinkage is basically how do we account for unaccounted goods. So if we lose a product, where exactly the product has gone? It might be stolen, it might be damaged, it might be anywhere, right? We are trying to predict that how much shrinkage we'll have because it affects the bottom line, and we were not able to do that properly. The C-suite leader asked me, hey, Shom, can you tell me that if I actually give all my data to GenAI, can it solve the problem? The leader was actually asking the wrong question, but the purpose was good. He wanted to solve a business problem, which was shrinkage, but the question framing was poor. This is what I call as prompt poverty, right? So all of us do prompts, but the problem with that is that we are poor in making prompts, and that's exactly what this table is talking about. So AI fails because of unclear framing. We are not able to frame our questions correctly. Yes, we have an AI strategy, but then if we are not able to use the questions right, then you will always get the misaligned insights. AI also fails because we are data focused. We are not hypothesis focused. So when you are trying to build your AI strategy, actually go to your leaders and ask that what are the problems that they are solving or they want to solve in the next 5 years. This was another problem that I had and me and my team faced, which is where we wanted to make it a AI-led organization, but it should not be that. It needs to be an AI-driven organization. And that's where our strategy was not working in our organization. What we needed to do is that we just needed to follow the business and we needed to plug in the holes through AI. So that's where I wanted to give these two examples. Let's say you are a store manager, or let's say you are a general manager, and you want to know that why are your stores underperforming? There are two ways to ask that question. One is, why are my stores underperforming? Will you get an answer? Yes. The other way to ask that question is, why are my tier 2 stores underperforming despite having higher footfall? Will you get a better answer? Actually, yes, right? And in the next one, you will probably get less hallucination. Now transfer that same methodology to your framing of questions that you are developing for your AI strategy. A lot of times we presume that we know what the business wants because we work day in and day out with the business, but what we do not know is that what are the problems that the business really wants to solve for. That's where you have to think like a consultant in this particular phase of your journey in building the AI strategy, that you are asking for the right questions in the right manner. That's when you basically come out of that prompt poverty. Right? One reflection that I would like you to have in this particular theme is that think about one particular question that you or your team is not asking today, and you should, and then design a particular way that you can solve that particular question, because the strategy should follow the question, not the other way around. Last but not the least, there is a fourth theme that we want to talk about is AI cannot do everything, right? AI can optimize, AI can understand patterns, AI can predict. But there's a lot of things that AI can't do. I'll talk about this part, but let me talk about an example. About 3-4 years back, I was developing a customer analytics AI strategy for my previous organization. And generally, what will we do? If it's a customer analytics strategy, there should be a data quality, there should be a data governance, there should be a data privacy, we should do personalization, we should do marketing. All of that was good. It was theoretical. But then it was really not coming out in terms of what exactly we should do for the customers. That's when the general manager of customer analytics, he actually came up with a proposition. He said, let's start doing a customer immersion program. What is that? So 20 of us used to go to a store and we used to be divided across four groups. And we were given a customer profile, right? Whatever we do, like a customer segment, along with the physical profile of the customer. And we were also told that what is the event that particular customer is going to shop for. Maybe a wedding, maybe a vacation, maybe a regular shopping. And we were asked that, can you shop on behalf of that customer? Because now you know the data and you guys are data guys, right? So I said, okay. So 4 of us used to go in one group. So there were 5 such groups and we were shopping for 5 different customers. After a lot of debate amongst ourselves and all of that, we used to come back into a room and we used to show that, okay, this is what we have shopped. We didn't know that the actual customers were also shopping. We just didn't know those customers. So they were present in that room. And they also showed us that what they shopped for those particular events. And there was hardly 10 to 20% match. What does that tell us is that the intent of the customer is never present in the data, and that's something that we have to actually bring forward. So this is what this slide really talks about. How do you make humans and AI coexist? The AI can do scaling up, speeding up, efficiency, but the humans can do contextual empathy, intelligence, and all of that. And the amalgamation of both of that is what the strategy is. So remember one thing, that it's equally important to know what is not to automate than it is to know that what is to automate, right? So the 3 key takeaways from what we wanted to present is, if you are building an AI strategy, ask the right questions to the right people. Do not fall into the pitfall of that prompt poverty. Think like a consultant in this phase. Number 2 is that start smaller. You should have a visibility of your North Star, but you should also start smaller with the right POCs, but do not fall into the POC graveyard. Third, not the last but not the least, is you need to understand that how do you amplify humans, and that's where the augmented intelligence comes, not the artificial intelligence. Of how do you marry the human intent with the data to make it even stronger. Thank you.